I think we're live. Awesome. What is up, everybody? Good evening, and thank you for joining us for the South Pacific Lockdown Escape. Tonight will be another night of figure drawing with the Inglourious Hoko. Adrian Dominic may join us later, Guy Aitchison, on our Reinventing the Tattoo Network. The reinventing community offers a new medium for connecting with other artists, apprentices, and collectors, and has evolved into a quality network of amazing live and on-demand tattoo, art shows, and classes. If you're watching us on YouTube, Facebook, or the Reinventing mobile app, let us know that our streams are working in the chat or tag a friend who would love to see this and join. You can also check out some of our weekly drawing groups and shows. Every Sunday, join Jason Leeser for his Reinventing drawing group at 1 p.m. Eastern, as well as a live drawing group happening Mondays at 9 a.m. Eastern. We're beaming out Tuesdays at 10 a.m. with Ricardo Sturdivant and stream the Tattoo Now show every Wednesday at noon. Kira's fundamentals class for apprentices is at 10 a.m. and the tattoo collecting podcast follows at noon. You can stay up to date with all of our live events by checking out our schedule at community.reinventingthetattoo.com or in our free mobile app. There you'll see the various drawing groups, interviews, and panels that are happening pretty much every day, and you can find links to beam in and join us. In fact, we're actually streaming out 24/7, and I will show you guys some of that over here with our Reinventing 24/7 content at reinventing247.com. We have videos running all the time that are perfect for your studio or to entertain tattoo clients. While you're there, you can register for a goodie bag with samples from Cheyenne cartridges, raw pigments, and D-Lies Pro. Other Reinventing educational content, courses, and webinars are available to you as well, whether you're in lockdown or pursuing any type of professional development. There you can see what our Monday classes are all about. You can go there to watch a free webinar and watch a public exercise that we had with Jesse Smith. Also, I do want to close by saying thank you to some of our sponsors for helping us provide this community to you for free. We've got World Tattoo Events. As a lot of us are familiar with them, they're the largest, most comprehensive resource for tattoo events in the world. Lots of stuff is updating, so that is a good resource for you to check out. We also have inkjet stencils at inkjetstencils.com. You can print stencils from your mobile or your computer, save yourself time or your apprentices time and hands. Webinars and free samples are on their website. Also, thank you to Raw Pigments, an ink company that is tapping into the source with acrylic-free pigments that have been impressing artists across the globe. You can find their newly updated website at rawpigments.co. Thank you to D-Lies Pro, known internationally as Dermalize Pro. Protect your art. If you are using saran wrap, watch some of the videos of tattooers to see what it is all about at dermalizepro.com. Also, thank you to Gabe at Tattoo Now, providing more than technology for tattooers for more than 25 years. And of course, the founder and inspiration behind Reinventing the Tattoo, Guy Aitchison, who is here with us tonight. You can find his biomech encyclopedia, DVDs, machines, paintings, and more at guyaitchison.com. Countless thanks to all of you for joining. Like I said before, we're happy to have you here. We do have some upcoming events that we can see you at in the United States. On October 3rd to 6th is the Paradise BYOB. We've got the Fireside Tattoo Network with Jake, who you saw before, and a lineup of all sorts of artists, seminars, webcasting out, a lot of great content to be covered. With that said, I would like to turn it over to you, Guy, and have you go ahead and kick off tonight's figure drawing. Last week was awesome. I had a lot of fun.
All right, Lauren, thank you. And thanks everyone for tuning in. Tonight we've got Mr. Inglourious Hoko from New Zealand. And he's joining us tonight to help lead this second South Pacific figure drawing session. And anyone who's joining us to draw tonight, we'll be sharing out that Zoom link soon. I figure let's just get ourselves through our quick warm-up poses before we all hop on together. And then, when we, the rest of us join in, we can kind of take a quick review of each other's warm-up sketches, and then we'll go into some longer poses. Yeah, figure drawing is, for those who haven't done this before, it's the first time you might ask, is this a useful skill when you can, trace anything you need to? I just think that, just like painting still lifes or doing anything from life, trying to train your mind and your hand to be able to capture things, especially things that are quick and fleeting, especially things that, like the human figure, you can tell at a glance whether you have training or not, if it looks right or not. It's just a really good way of, kind of building up your artistic muscle and your seeing and translating abilities. All right. Before we get started, Hoko, you have any comments since last week? What you have to say about what that session was like and what you'd hope to see happen tonight?
Well, I mean, that figure drawing is always a challenge, and last week was no exception. And I actually haven't done any more figure drawing since last week, so today is going to be interesting. I've just been sculpting all week, actually. But my goal, as always with gesture or figure drawing, is just to try and capture movement. It's something that I've always found, especially when I'm drawing from the imagination. I'll tend to sometimes my drawing might feel a bit stiff or whatnot. So my goal is always to just kind of study anatomy and capture movement. So that's going to be me today.
Okay. Well, hey, what do you say we focus on action poses?
Yeah. Yep. Sounds awesome.
Do it. Okay. And Lauren, I believe you can actually find action poses at the Quick Poses website. I think Sandy found those earlier. And yeah, we had a night of action poses earlier, and it was awesome. Some of them you've got two figures like kickboxers or whatever, interacting where somebody's airborne, and oh yeah, it's the best. Very challenging,
yeah.
When you've got two figures to get down in 3 minutes, but that's part of the brain flex here, and yeah, that sounds like a good goal.
Yeah, I actually really enjoy the time limit when it comes to these figure drawings. There's no time to kind of dick around. Just you have that immediacy of being in the moment. I really enjoy that about it. Not worrying about mistakes or anything. Just it's kind of art at its purest form.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Before the camera was invented, this is the essential part of the skill was to be able to observe and report.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Well,
yes, and I just want to confirm I wasn't seeing action, but we do have urban.
Urban. No, let's see action. Let's see. Is there sport? Maybe.
Oh, just 1 second. Sorry, guys.
I mean, the regular poses tend to be quite dynamic.
Yeah. Okay.
As a
Well,
whole,
if
anyway. So
we don't find it like that, then I guess we could just sort of like do a mix of all. See what we get.
Here we go. All right, so we have different types here of poses of the face, hands, animals, landscape, and urban.
Urban sounds like buildings. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that those sound like more like landscapey kind of stuff. There's got to be. See, I can't really read it. Let's see if I can.
Yeah, I think if we just keep it pose and all gender and nude and partially nude, I think that'd be perfect. Yeah.
You guys gonna draw for 2 minutes to start?
We're gonna start with 2. Yep, that's
awesome.
Sounds awesome.
And we'll do 6 of these. And before we start, can we pause, Lauren?
Yep.
Never mind. Okay. I just wanted to say, you might want to make 6 layers right now if you're drawing digitally. And we'll have a moment to do that. And that way you won't be losing a valuable 10 or 15 seconds at the beginning of each pose when you only have 2 minutes.
Yep. Oh, good.
Thanks for joining, Rod.
Thanks for having me. Hi.
Hi, Rod.
Right on. Good evening.
Hey, good evening. How are you?
Doing great. Excited about tonight's session.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you're drawing analog, so you don't need to do layers. Or
I'm going to use iPad. I'm going to use Procreate.
Oh, right on. Okay, so yeah, you might want to make 6 blank layers before we get started.
All right, I got some. Cool. I got to turn this camera around here. Here we go.
We lost
Oh.
about 10 seconds on that last figure. So before I press pause, so I can go to the next one if you'd like to.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and do that.
All right, let me know when you guys are
Everybody
ready.
prepped and ready. Okay, I feel like I'm good to go. So
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Alrighty. Ooh, now there's a pose.
you wanted action,
Yeah,
balance.
there we
balance.
go.
I love the sense of balance. Also very tricky to capture. Yeah, so there's that point on the floor, and you can kind of imagine a line of gravitational support going all the way up.
Yeah, look at that spine. Look at the way she's angled. It's quite interesting.
Mhm.
This is a perfect warm-up pose, actually.
How
Tricky,
about
but
that? Yeah, really tough kind of pose, actually. What sort of brushes do you use when you're drawing figure, guy?
digitally, you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Usually I like a brush that's sort of like a ragged brush, you know, something that's a little bit rough and analog looking.
Yep.
So like
Yeah,
if I
absolutely.
get up closer. Oh, what a nice long 2 minutes.
There we go. Oh, she's back. And she's angry.
Don't reach the open again, okay? You got that? Oh, there goes a valuable 20 seconds. Here we go. Oh, nice. Look at that. All right, minute and a half for this, eh? Okay, starting with like the feet are both on the same level. Now it's the old send in the cat trick, but I'm not working on a real sketchbook, so it might actually not make a difference. We'll see.
While you're drawing, thank you, Mary Jean, for beaming in from Auckland. Yeah, she says a big fan over there, so awesome.
Right on. Thanks for joining us. I like how these poses have been so angular and have had such distinct profiles. The negative space in between everything has been really nice and readable. Lots of good reference points. Okay. This one's a little dark, but let's try to do it anyway. It's a cool pose.
Yeah, that is. I like that.
Yeah, now if this were a longer drawing,
Yeah, that'd be a nice.
yeah, and then you can zoom in and really take advantage of that shading. And, you know, like so much of Hoko's stuff, he's got this really distinct alternation of dark and light, which I think is so key to making a good tattoo. And this guy here has a bit of that. Nice rhythm of shadow and highlight.
A great dynamic pose in general, man. The way that knee is protruding.
Yeah, that's a really cool one.
I really nerd out whenever you can see the clavicle clearly, like what we've got here, you know, the collarbone, and the way you can see all the muscles joining into it, like the pectoral and everything. Trapezius coming over from the back. I really nerd out on that stuff. It's really cool to see it. These kind of drawings, these kind of poses. Sorry.
Yeah, you can lose a lot of time on hands with something like this, and so I usually just kind of mark the outline of like there's a mitten, you know.
Yeah, everybody just gets squares, rectangles for hands. They're not drawing figure like this.
All right. Yeah, another big open profile kind of pose. Proportions are so tricky. Sometimes, like, it looks like the arm is longer than the leg, right?
Yeah, it's all about perspective and kind of trying to nail it in such a short amount of time. Yeah, very difficult.
I think that the fact that cameras, especially if some of these are shot on phones, you're going to get a little bit more distortion, a little bit more of that kind of fisheye lens distortion. Or photograph somebody and their shoulders bigger than their head. I don't know why I feel like I'm getting more out of my 2 minutes than last week.
Oh, I feel the exact opposite. I feel like I'm wallowing today.
I feel like I'm
I've been
getting
spending the week trying to paint super fast, painting things where the lighting is rapidly changing, sitting outside, you know, just trying to be a camera. And of course, you can't. You have to make all those compromises.
Yeah, how long have you been spending on those paintings there, Guy?
Hour and a half, 2 hours. There's some sky paintings that are 30, 40 minutes. Although the skies have been completely featureless for the last week, so I haven't been painting them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really fun to see, man. They're awesome.
Thank you.
I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's this tattoo artist, David Heskin, who he sort of overlaps with the visionary art scene a little bit. And he and his wife, who's not a tattooer, but they're both really accomplished painters and fine artists in general. They spent like 10 years just sort of deconstructing everything they knew and taking on all this kind of classical art training, going to a lot of classes and being teachers' assistants when they could. And just taking this kind of beginner's mindset despite already being very accomplished. I thought that was pretty awesome. And they learned things like, classical wood carving and all this stuff.
Oh, awesome. I'd love to go and do something like that, actually.
Ceramic tile making with like crazy patterns in it. Oh, man, that one did not turn out very well. Okay, I shouldn't have said, wow. Okay.
That's a great.
Look at the state of this guy.
All right, the angle, that's about 40 degrees.
He didn't drink his V8.
I'd hate to have to see that one live.
Yeah, to hold that pose for any length of time. I always thought it was funny, being at figure drawing sessions where people take on these very ambitious poses. It's like, oh yeah, good luck with that one. And sure enough, 10 seconds into it, they're like tremoring and
Oh, that'd be hard.
yeah.
A tough one.
This is interesting though, that it's like, the shoulder is almost like this perfect 90-degree step.
It's interesting to do, figure drawing when it's on this kind of angle where it's not like a normal angle that we'd be drawing, like trying to nail those proportions without the person being in a position that we're used to them being, upside down or whatever like this. That adds another level of challenge to it.
That it's kind of like that thing where when you paint, sometimes it's a good thing to just turn it upside down on your easel and just work
absolutely
that way and see if it still looks like everything's flowing right and there's not some crazy thing going on with the balance of it, which we are very handed in the way that we see. It's very hard for us to be objective. In fact, it's scary to see how not objective we are. All right, well, is that 6? Okay, let's stop then. Take a pause here. Are we ready to go to 5 minute and do 4 of those?
Sure.
Or was that 5?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Oh, we only let's see. We only did 5. I'm sorry. We should have done one more. But we can move to the 5 minutes. Okay. All right, Lauren, have we got this set for 5?
Doing so now, I'm going to start over.
Okay.
Here we go. You guys ready?
So 5 minutes, and we're going to take this till about 1/4 till. So yeah, we'll do like 4 of these. Oof. Okay. Of course, you don't have to show the entire arrow. And yeah, 5 minutes ends up feeling like 2 minutes. It's kind of funny how that works.
It goes so quickly.
Yeah, we've got a few landmarks here because she's got clothing, including this sort of mesh thing, and you don't want to get too caught up in kind of capture all that stuff, but it can also help to kind of measure out proportions of things. Yeah, I'm having a hard time seeing what's going on with her foot down at the bottom.
Yeah, it's it's not the biggest image. This one.
Well, I don't know if you're seeing those dots. Like those dots that on Instagram show that you've got multiple images. There's that sort of thing going on and kind of covering her foot. But I can see a little bit of the rise of her heel there. think good enough. Now, one thing that you can do if you're looking for a reference point is follow, for instance, the line of the top of her thigh, follow that through, and you can see where it hits that fabric, and it's just a little bit below the bottom of her breast. You can see, you know, kind of how far up you need to go from there. That's a potential landmark.
I just struggle to get the entire figure on the canvas. I've got all the room in the world, and it always runs off.
Yeah. Yeah, well, with 5 minutes, you then have the extra time to be able to say, okay, I'm just going to transform it, you know, small again and shrink it down a little bit.
Yeah, I probably should do that.
Yeah, you know what? I always tell people in our regular sessions to feel free. You know, if you're drawing digitally, go ahead and use the tools. If you've got an arm that looks pretty good, but it's angled too low, you know, go ahead and lasso it and warp it or do what you need to do. You know, you're still doing it by eye. You're still having to use your own judgment and your own abilities to represent the thing properly.
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing that we definitely don't do much of in our normal Monday night classes is we don't trace. Because of course, you know, trace all you need to when you're getting ready for a tattoo project. But yeah, that's not the point of the exercises. So yeah, I'm running out of space. So I'm just going to go ahead and shrink it and give myself more space. Boom.
Yeah, actually, I might do the same on this one because I'm miles off.
Yeah.
Middle of the thigh, and I'm off the canvas. So.
Yeah. Oh, I got as far as her elbow, the upward pointing elbow. But yeah, about the same, but just in the opposite direction. That arrow thing. So yeah, my daughter and I, we went to this cool thing that was held by this guy in the park district who's like a mammoth and mastodon expert. But you know, he's all about Stone Age and Ice Age technology, and they had these things back then called atlatls. It's a thing for like launching an arrow. Oh, is that 5 minutes?
Whoa,
Holy
5
shit,
minutes
Ryan.
already.
Isn't that
Oh my God.
ridiculous? Okay. Yeah,
All
I
right,
did
here we go
better with
again.
the different poses. All right, well, let's see if we can do better with these. All right. But yeah, this guy had these atlatls, which were so cool. You could, you know, it's like a lever that doubles the length of your arm and allows you to launch an arrow hard enough to pierce the breastplate bones of a mammoth.
No way.
I've seen that on a show. Yeah, I saw that before. That's cool. I or something similar to it. It was like a hunting device.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is something that was probably invented a number of different times in different parts of the world, but yeah, for a long time before the bow was invented, this was the way to do it. But you still had to get right up upon your prey. You know, the bow kind of moved beyond the need for that. Now, this is tricky, getting the proportions of this whole upper area. It's just this big kind of curving form.
Yeah,
Unlike
often. Oh, sorry, go.
I was just saying the warm-up poses had all these great, like easily readable areas of negative space between the limbs and everything. And we're just not getting that anymore. Anyway, what were you about to say?
I tend to use the head as a proportion anchor. You know, I often find myself drawing the head first and kind of using that to roughly gauge out like how big everything else should be. But in poses like this, it's kind of good to. I mean, it's good to get me out of that kind of comfort zone and just do it. You know.
Yeah, the option isn't even there to do it that way. Yeah, it's funny. I find myself almost always just working from the bottom up, just so conditioned by all these years of tattooing.
You don't want to wipe the stencil off, man.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, I'm going to try a couple minutes of shading. I can't even believe how little I got done on that first one. What the hell?
Oh man, that first one was rough. Like I've done some rough drawings and stuff.
But yeah, the at level turned out to be enough fun that I ordered a set. And daughter does not know this yet.
Oh yeah, you got that.
And he's so geeked. She was really into it.
That'll be fun.
It'll be a good way for me to do further damage to my rotator cuff. Can't let things like that stop you, right?
No, it's good to get out and do some things, you know, like life's meant to be lived a bit, you know.
Yeah, we're actually back into bicycle season now that it's cooling down. Actually, it's not cooling down yet, but it will be in the next few days. And yeah, bicycle and kayak season. Swimming season is over.
Kayak's fun. I really like that.
Yeah, I love kayaking.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to figure out something clever for my truck because since the last kayak season, I've gone down to a truck with a shorter bed, and so I'm gonna have to rig something.
So have wheels on your kayak, man.
Well, I mean, I have to be able to drive to the nearby lake. But yeah. Can't believe
on time.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
About to say I can't believe that was the same amount of time. But all right.
yeah, I got so much more done.
I might get called away for some dad duties for a minute here. And Lauren, that being the case, at the end of these short ones, I'm going to do two more, including this. Yeah, one more after this. Go ahead and get everybody in, and I'll be back as soon as possible. But after this, we're going to do a couple tens. And since they're longer poses, we'll get a vote from the group. You know, if it's not obviously like really dynamic, you know.
Got it.
So far, we've had pretty good luck. But yeah, when you know you're going to invest 10 minutes into it, it's nice to have some kind of veto power. So much of my thinking is just straight from tattooing, you know, like the kinds of shapes that I draw are very much influenced by what flows nicely on arms and rib cages and things. Back when I was an airbrush artist, I started getting tattooed and I noticed they were using a foot switch, and I was thinking, huh, that'd be a good way to like reduce condensation in my airbrush compressor if it wasn't running all the time. So I ended up rigging a foot switch on that. And definitely,
That's cool.
it took me a long time to give up on the foot switch. So used to it, but actually did damage to my my foot from leaning on it for all those years.
Yeah, like the position that you'd have to kind of put yourself in to get your machine running when that foot switch inevitably started to give way and just die. Yeah, I'm throwing away my foot switch was the best thing I ever did.
Well, for a long time, I had it set up for like tap on, tap off, so I didn't
Nice.
have to lean as much. But still, are you using a cordless at this point?
Yeah, I'm using the Injector X1, which is completely wireless. And so that's something that I never thought that it was not something I was bothered by, like a wireless machine. And now that I have a wireless machine, it's like, oh man, I could never go back.
Yeah. That's I'm using the Cheyenne Unlimited, and it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Very hard to imagine going back to being tethered and having something that can catch on the wheels of your cart or whatever. It's just nice to not worry about any of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice to just be able to walk around your client.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's finally like the art tool that it was always yearning to be.
Mm.
Now, this is a pose where you don't necessarily need to have the chair, because the figure seems kind of self-supporting without it.
Yeah, I started drawing in the chair, and now I immediately regret it.
Often you need it, because otherwise it's like, oh, they're just floating in a weird position. All right, trying to do some shading here, and not knowing how much time is left. It's a little bit of a gamble, but I like living on the edge.
Extreme figure drawing, life on the edge.
Trying to figure while skydiving.
All right, that's the
tomorrow's
next
episode.
evolution.
We're closing in on time now.
Okay, nobody's done a free fall tattoo yet.
I'm sure somebody would have.
So, all right, we got one left, right? Okay. This is where YouTube would cut us off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Get away with a nipple, but a penis? Oh, scandalous.
Okay, I am gonna have to step away right now. You guys know what to do. I'll be seeing you in a little bit.
Cool
Okay.
as.
Alrighty, sounds good. For those of you watching who want to join in on the Zoom, just let us know. There is a link in the Reinventing Community app under events at community.reinventingthetattoo.com. If you need the link, just leave a comment and I'll make sure to get it over to you. All right.
Oh, that's time.
I'm gonna
Man.
see real quick, you guys, if I can pull up a couple tunes or not.
Yeah, cool. How'd you get on there, Rod?
Oh, what's that now?
How'd you get on with those last poses?
Oh, well, they're going kind of slow for me. I got let's see, sketchy pose done, like just
Yeah, nice.
try to get the position right. Maybe when it's a little longer, I'll get a little more. But yeah, a little bit of the,
Yeah, cool, man.
basics.
Cool.
How about you?
Yeah, a little bit rough actually. I'll show you what I've been doing. I've been I was kind of struggling for a little bit there, so it was a little bit rough. But this was the last pose. I kind of accentuated these
Yeah.
bumps a little bit. It kind of made them. I accidentally made them look a little bit chubby. It is what it is.
Okay. Oh, that looks good.
That's
Got
what
the shadows in.
Yeah, just quickly, just some scribbly kind of stuff. I like to keep it super loose with this sort of thing. I'm happy with this guy. This was quite a dynamic pose. Having those limbs all folded over each other. Really
Yeah.
enjoyed
Yeah.
drawing that. Kind of tricky with that perspective as well. Hair. and whatnot.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that
What
looks
else
good.
did we do?
Oh yeah, the tough one. I don't think I did great on that one. Okay, but but yours looks good. Yeah, I like
No,
that.
thanks, man.
Mhm.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this one, despite like not really having that head as the anchor point that I'm used to. I can't break the habit of starting with the head first and then kind of like using it as like almost like a Loomis method guide to roughly gauge how big the body should be.
Oh, how is that now? Loomis method, is it drawing the head? Is that right?
Yeah, but he actually has an entire book that was released in like the early 1900s. It was I'm pretty sure anyway. It was, or maybe it was like the 1950s or something. But it's a really comprehensive book on like his guides to proportion. So he'll measure everything by however many heads, and say
Oh.
for like an average character that he would do like a kind of like a good solid man build, he would draw the head and then measure the head from jawline to the top of the head and do like 1.5 from the center out to the edge of the deltoid hair, and then I think it's like another one is like the nipples, or and yeah, it's actually I need to go and do a refresher on it, actually.
Okay.
Kind of restudy all those basics.
Okay.
Yeah, this one I struggled on. I was like struggle city right here, man.
Yeah, well, you did good. I mean, like everything looks like it's in the right places, and the size of the limbs and stuff. Everything looks pretty proportioned.
Yeah, I find this hair was questionable. I was drawing it, I was like, the arm was getting longer and longer, and I was like, what am I doing? Just kind of one of those moments there. But, I mean, the thing, you can't nail all of these. They kind of, especially when it's like super quick.
Yeah, They're too
Yeah.
quick. Those first ones, barely got anything scratched on. Yeah, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah. Well, I really enjoy the 2 minute ones because
You do.
it is it's surprising once you get especially once you get a little bit of practice. It's surprising what you can get on the paper in that time.
Yeah.
You can get a fully fleshed out kind of rough drawing. And it's
Mhm.
I think it's quite cool. Well, it's my 2 minute ones. These were rough. It took me a little bit of time to get warmed up today, and it's the exact opposite of what I just said. I was not getting a fully drawn figure on there at all.
The way that leg sticks out in front was pretty neat. Yeah, I like how that perspective of that leg looks like it's popping out forward. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it was kind of coming forward in the photo. These arms were a lot smaller due to the perspective, which I found a little bit challenging. But it's all learning. Like I was struggling at first, but I think I got my groove after a little while.
Yeah, I think I'm
I'm
gonna switch tools to like something called a roll, like RULL. There's Nico roll, and then I had another one that I made. It's called a round roll. I saw it on a class online, like YouTube class on how to make a brush, and
okay.
yeah. So the roll, I don't know where the Nico roll is, but maybe in drawing here it is. Let's see. No, inking. No, sketching. No, I haven't used that one in a while. I used the one that I made. Let's see. Artistic. Maybe it's a painting one. There it is. It's in painting. So the brush, and then it's about like halfway through. Nikko, Nikko roll, and so it kind of like covers whatever area you do.
Yeah, awesome.
Like this, like, but you can take it down so that it makes, well, no, actually, oh yeah, okay. So you can take it down so it's like lighter. You can put like shadows, but I think I might use something like that to block things in a little, maybe draw and block, the shadows as I draw. I'll try to do that, but
yes, brushes like that are perfect for this sort of thing where you kind of just want to capture that immediacy and keep things just basically it's an illusion of form, so I think brushes like that are definitely the most beneficial.
Yeah. I'm gonna try it. I figured if I tried the sketching pencil first, maybe I would do well with that, but yeah, I don't know, we'll see. I don't know if I like them that. I don't know if I like
I've never oh, sorry, what were you saying?
Usually it gets a little better as it goes on. Maybe I'll get warmed up and then I'll feel better.
Yeah. Well, it took me a little bit to get going today, like I said, but I feel better now. Well, I've actually never used the iPad Pro before to draw with or anything, so I really need to give it a go.
Okay. Are you using Photoshop?
Yeah, I'm just using Photoshop and one of these simple Wacom tablets where you just you draw here and you're looking over there,
Yeah.
But I mean, they're good.
Yeah. They're cool. Yeah, they're really cool.
Yeah, I love my little Wacom tablet. I mean, maybe I'll upgrade to like one for screen in it again eventually. I had one at one point, but I'm happy with this little pad at the moment. It just does it for me.
Yeah, I tried that one and I liked it. Oh, I see that tattoo on your wrist there. I thought about doing that on myself back. Yeah,
dude.
Like 20 years ago.
Be so glad that you didn't do it.
Well, now I see it around. So I am, but that was a serious consideration. Yeah.
Well, that was my first ever tattoo. I was 17 years old. Yeah, man. It's and that was it was funny. That tattoo right there was the thing that kicked off my entire career. Like I was hooked up to that. I went back the same week and I got my palms done.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I was 17, man. So it's a much cooler tattoo than Red Hot Chili Peppers logo, which a band I haven't listened to in years and years. But
I still like that image. It's kind of cool, man.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let me know when you're ready to jump back in and I'll pull it up for you.
Oh, cool. Is anyone else going to jump on the stream?
I don't think so right now.
Okay. Let me just have a look.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. Mish hasn't got the link, so I'll just send him the link real quickly. I think he's going to jump in.
Sure. What's up, Rod? Where are you beaming in from? I don't know too much about everybody yet.
Oh, okay. I'm in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So it's like about an hour and a half from Philadelphia, 3 hours from New York City, an hour and a half, 2 hours from Baltimore, Washington.
Got it.
DC. I'm around there. Yeah. Where are you guys?
I'm just actually out of Wisconsin. So I work kind of virtually with the reinventing. So
okay, right. And what's your name? Hoko Witu. Oh, sorry.
No, don't worry, man. Nobody can pronounce my name, not even here in New Zealand. But it's actually pronounced Hoko Fitu, which is yeah. So, but everyone knows me as Hoko. It's a Maori name, you know. So I don't know if you know about the Maori people, kind of the indigenous people of New Zealand.
I don't know much about it. No, I'll have to look into it though. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, sir. And then my surname is Italian, which is actually pronounced Shasha, which again, nobody can pronounce either of my names. So
my wife's family's from, well, her mom and her side of the family's from Italy. So that was Napoli. That's where they're from.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Have you gone and visited that area?
No, but I'd like to. Yeah, I'd like to. Yeah,
I absolutely love that country.
Yeah,
real cool. Oh, looks like we just had Mish join. Can you hear us, Mish?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, man, show us your face, bro. You know your toilet roll.
Hey, man, toilet roll.
Hey. Oh, man.
Our situation.
Hey. Oh, man, stoked you could join, bro. So, for those who don't know, this is Mish. He also works at Shipshape Tattoo and is an absolutely incredible artist.
Thank you. I'm not.
Nice to
don't trust me.
And he's also very humble, as you can tell, because he's about to blow us all away with some figure drawing.
Awesome.
I only have this. It broke on me, so it's really short.
Oh, is that a graphite pencil?
Yeah.
Oh man, you're just gonna hold it like this, all fancy arty, man.
All right, you guys let me know when you're ready, and I can we can jump in.
Cool as. Yep, I reckon we get into it.
All right, we'll have 10-minute poses. Here we go.
Cool.
And you guys tell me if that's, I can go to another one too.
What do you guys reckon? We draw this one or move on?
I think that was quite cool.
All right, let's draw it.
Okay.
Check out the afro on this guy. I'm into it. It's the sound of concentration right there.
I was going to try and share some music for you guys, but
oh yeah,
not so easy with the screen share happening.
Okay, yeah. You ever see those ASMR videos where it's just people drawing? and the sound of their pencils on the
Not-
paper. I think
yeah.
we're such a weird kind of culture.
Yeah,
What's that, sorry?
I've seen people eating.
Oh, yeah, I can't think of anything worse than
I
listening to
wouldn't
someone
like.
eat.
I don't like that at all. It was awful.
Yeah.
Seen
was-
this one that people eat massive bowls of noodles, or
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
why would you want that? Oh,
like
yeah,
a-
shoot it.
there's like a bit of a fetish in that, like a fetish culture in there.
I suppose. Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
You know,
it'd have to be, wouldn't it?
like feet, you know, people just something like that. Yeah.
It's funny that the people that are into feet are like, hell yeah, but anyone else is like, what are you thinking? You know,
Yeah, you're right.
I
Yeah.
guess it's the same with the people with the noodle eating fetish.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something about, you know, watching a skinny Asian chick eating a massive bowl of noodle somehow is interesting for some people.
Strange, man, so strange.
Mm.
Isn't it about the sounds of it too? Like especially the sound of the thing is what people enjoy or something.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is that as well. The slurping in the
Get
I don't
that
care.
macaroni sound, man.
I don't care. Gross.
So, Mish, how do you like to start your drawings when you're doing figure like this?
I look for big curves.
Yep.
So I generally start with just very gestural, sort of observe the main few, maybe 2 to 3 main sort of curve, and I'll do like a row gesture, sort of almost like a sweeping kind of marking.
Yep.
And from there you kind of expand into sort of just reading the shape that's sort of made up by all the shadows and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't really look into anatomy or any of that stuff when I start drawing them, or proportion, you know, because like it's the thing is to get the movement of and the energy of the model on paper, and once you have that, then I start to sort of do a little bit more measurements and kind of working on pushing the more sort of subtle shapes.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, that's
I think,
kind of what I'm aiming to do as well, but badly. Sorry, what were you saying?
I think like anatomy is very important to learn, but it's not necessary to have. I think it's a useful tool when it comes to problem solving.
Yep.
But I think as far as life drawing or just figure drawing and things, like if you are able to just train your eye to observe shapes and form in the energy between, the energy of the movements, you should be able to create a pretty decently accurate drawing. But then, when you have difficult pose and you don't know what bump comes from where, then that's when anatomy comes in. That really helps with sort of solving some sort of problems that you might have come across.
Yeah.
I feel like things like, say, what you're doing with like 3D sculpting, anatomy is important because you're dealing with like a 3D object. You're not just dealing with a 2D plane, you know, so knowing the anatomy becomes more essential. Whereas I feel like just as far as drawing goes, anatomy is a good tool to have in your library, but as far as, you know, it's good for
Yeah,
problem solving, but I think the main thing is still trying to observe shapes.
yep, absolutely.
Um,
Well, I think it'll be when you're drawing, like it'll be hugely beneficial anatomy if you're drawing from imagination as well.
yeah, for sure, definitely, you know, and I think for people from back in the days when they do, you know, people from like Renaissance times and things like that, it's very important since photography was not a thing, you know. So
Yep.
you have your models, and then you do your studies, you do your composition drawings before you transfer that onto the canvas. Obviously, a lot of that you don't have the model. You have to base off your drawings and your understanding of anatomy to be able to produce that painting. But I think nowadays you have camera.
Yeah.
Record the image and actually have the time to sit down and observe and study the shapes and forms and things, you know. So it's quite different. I think I'm not saying don't learn anatomy. I think it's really important, but just in case people are like really afraid of doing life drawings and thinking, oh, I don't know anatomy, I don't know how to do this. It's like that's not necessarily something you need to have to try and do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, like this is something you could just try and do and train your eyes to see better, see shapes, and sort of it's a good sort of training for your hands and your eyes to work in tandem to study things.
Yeah, I mean, like just observational studies
Yeah.
like this are just great in general.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, and that's what you know when we're doing the anatomy course and stuff. There's that, you know, people like Frank Frazetta, you know, such accomplished artist, but doesn't really, you know,
Hadn't
really
studied
do it.
anatomy. Yeah.
No. But he's obviously very good at observing and creating very interesting image, and you know, especially with like female figures, like he's just very good at that.
Yep, absolutely. And I think one of his biggest strengths, or maybe his biggest strength in general, was storytelling.
Yeah,
You know,
and
he's just an amazing at it.
And he does so well with using colors as well. You know, his colors is beautiful. You know,
Yeah.
And how he would have how he creates depth using just silhouettes and stuff. Like he's just so good at that thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, is that 10 minutes already?
Damn.
I say that
Is that
every
slipped
single
up?
time.
Yeah. You guys like this pose, or do you want to go to the next one?
If this pose works fine for me.
All right, here we go.
I thought I was doing okay on that last one, and then it was 10 minutes. And
It just goes so quickly.
realized it wasn't that okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed that last one.
I liked it
Karate
too.
Kick Afro Samurai.
It was a pretty cool pose. So it's Hoko, Misha, or what is it? Me?
Mish. So Mish.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the administrator, or is it another artist? The last person.
You're talking to me?
Oh, L.
Oh, that's me. Yeah, my video is off right now, but I'm Lauren. So nice to
Lauren.
meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So Lauren, what's your story? Are you an artist as well?
No, I do. I run the like the event stuff for Guy and do stuff like this in the back end. Otherwise, my main spot is with raw pigments.
Oh, cool.
So I've been in the ink manufacturing realm for about 9 years.
Oh, so you guys do the raw pigment stuff. Cool.
Yep.
Nice.
We're doing well, we won't be able to make it just because of restrictions, but I know that Haiti has his convention at the end of October we'll be a part of, but can't really make it out there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that convention. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, should be.
So long as we actually get let out of lockdown.
I know, man. That's the thing that sucks. But hey, if it happens and things happen, I mean, it's nothing we haven't been happening in the US for the last year. So hopefully he has another date in mind if it does. Man, but you can't beat Halloween though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, last year we had a convention on Halloween as well, and it was good fun. Me and Mish dressed up and
Hell yeah,
showed up in costume. And it was good fun.
See, we've got the Golden State Expo next weekend in the US. So there's been new like little restrictions they've called, but hasn't been canceled. So
nice.
Yeah, I see the US is pretty much all back to operating pretty much normal, mostly.
Yep. Well, we did have a new vaccine mandate that happened last week, but otherwise pretty normal.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining, Adrian.
Hi guys.
Hey, Adrian, you made it.
What's up,
Just
Adrian?
stopping by to say hello.
Awesome.
You guys are all hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
I've been
Yeah,
doing
we
some
bobbing.
work stuff. And now I'm actually working on a digital sculpture.
Hey, nice. Is that the one you were showing me earlier?
No, I've made and abandoned several over the course of the last week, as you do, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. It happens.
Was I telling you about that pillar idea that I had about like the prints that I wanted to do?
Nah, man.
So basically, like, I want to make these. Imagine like a Roman pillar, but kind of like spiraled with like biomech, almost like a sleeve, like a biomech sleeve. I want to print them out and do them all, and then maybe cast them in resin. So.
Oh, nice, man. Yeah, that's cool.
Especially because my buddy does all that printing stuff, and I know that I can get a really high resolution print. So I'm taking all that stuff that you showed me, and I'm applying that, and hopefully I can get something printable out of this.
Yeah, cool, man.
Wow.
I can't wait to see what you come up with.
Do you guys ever go on to things like CG societies and things to try and, I don't know, get on the forums and?
Yeah, I'm on the ZBrush forums and ArtStation, and I've been hitting up the Proco forums as well. I don't know if you guys follow that guy. The Stan Prokopenko does a lot of really quality art instruction that's really easy to understand. I'm on
I have
all
one
those
of
forums.
his skulls. I have one of those Proco skulls.
No way.
It's one of the best references I've ever bought.
Oh, no way. That's cool, man. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that guy's awesome. It's him and that guy Marshall Vandruff, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he always has. There's a whole bunch of instructors who work on there, which is really cool because it stops things from getting stale or anything like that. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's had everybody on there, so kind of those are the forums that I'm generally on at the moment.
I'm not on the feed. Oh, hey, guy.
Who we got here?
Hey.
Hey.
We got Adrian and Mish.
Oh, nice. Welcome.
Hello,
man.
man.
How far are we into this pose, and what's our timing right now?
About 3/4 of the way through on this one.
Is this a 10-minute?
Yeah. So this is our second 10-minute. We did a little review before of Rod and Hoko's drawings, and jumped right back in.
I
Sure.
honestly not even drawing that. I got here just a couple of minutes ago, and I was sculpting when I got here.
Nice.
So I'll open up Photoshop in a second. Trying to find
Yeah, I had to step away and do dad stuff, but I got to do most of the warm-up drawings. I just had to skip the 10s.
There's still time.
Yeah.
There's time. Time yet.
Still time.
Yeah, it's funny because you were just saying how you often, do the head first. I find myself getting to it last for that same reason, just always starting everything at the bottom.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to start things. But yeah, like you said, very, very tattoo.
I'm just wondering what would happen if I actually tried to start head first.
Oh, I'm wondering what would happen if I started feet first. Nothing good, I reckon, but I'll be willing to give it a go.
I always start with the skeleton. I can't help myself but starting with the skeleton.
Yeah, see, that's a good solid way to start, though. Can't go wrong with that.
It's easy to exaggerate and still like get away with a lot of murder.
Lately, I like starting with negative shapes for some reason.
Yeah,
How do you mean?
I like that too. Like with the light instead of the dark.
Like a shape in between the arm and the shape. Yeah, the black in between the arm and the ribs there, maybe. Just so it's
kind of marking in the black areas.
Yeah, just so it's an abstract idea, and I can get that down maybe better than if I'm thinking about a body.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and not all the poses are necessarily going to be conducive to that. But like the first opening poses, the 2-minute warm-ups, we had some great ones for just blocking in those negative areas. Yeah, 10 minutes, even though I'm only catching part of it.
We're closing in now. Here we go.
Okay, all right. So are we going to do another 10 or are we going to go to our 20? Where are you guys at?
We just completed our second 10-minute.
Okay, you want to do a third or should we move to our 20-minute?
It's up to you guys.
Yeah, I'm up to a third.
Let's keep going. Let's do one more 10.
One more 10.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, now here, like the negative spaces are lighter than she is. And okay, so I'm going to try that. I'm going to go ahead and just start blocking in the negative spaces in white. Extractify her like that. I always try to like do it a different way than I normally would, and always just makes things harder for me.
Yeah, I'm doing the same at the moment, actually.
Keep forgetting that I'm working on a gray. Like I found that often it's good to have the background set to gray just because it's more readable on Zoom. Like your camera isn't as overexposed. So I've gotten in the habit of doing that, but I sometimes forget my eyes just kind of adjust. And before I know it, and like during the solar eclipse, you know, it's getting really dark. It just feels kind of twilighty. Adrian, you know, our next eclipse is happening in 2024. You guys got to make it again. We lost Adrian's sound.
Here we go,
We
Adrian.
lost Adrian
Jumping
in
right-
general.
Adrian's back. He just got back in and must have fallen off for just a second.
Yeah, okay. I don't know how much I actually accomplished. So negative space, but let's find out. I'm going to try to draw her in properly.
Now I'm trying to do skeleton and negative space and everything at once. I don't know how it's gonna go, but
Yeah, everything all at once method.
yeah,
Why not?
tick points, measurements, different things, I guess.
I figure as long as there's something in there that represents the proportions, that's what I was trying to do with that white area. It's just get enough of the proportions down that then I could sort of just mark things in at my leisure.
I find myself almost like caricaturizing everything when I'm sitting in front of a life model, like a real life person that's posing, and that once it's caricaturized, like when I say caricaturized, I mean almost like the guy that you would see, like, I don't know, down on the beach boardwalk that's drawing pictures of couples that are kind of cartoonized for 10
Yeah,
bucks
just
or something.
exaggerated a bit.
Exaggerated a bit, and then I find myself correcting those exaggerations, and for me, I think because of the way that my brain like exercises shapes of the language, that I find that to be the most intuitive way, is like almost see things like as a cartoon, and then like bring in the actual resolution, if that makes sense, slowly.
Yeah, basically make it less cartoony, more basically you can dial in the realism once you've got the cartoon in place.
Right, exactly.
It's kind of funny because, you know, a lot of cartoonists will tell you that in some ways it's helpful to be able to draw the figure realistically before you start trying to cartoon it.
Yeah, well, you got to
You'll
know the
know
rules
the
to
rules.
break them, yeah.
Know the rules before you break, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's a different experience for everyone. Yeah, the feet, like foreshortened feet. You can do it. Draw what you see.
Adrian, how are you and Laura doing, man? You good?
Yeah, we're doing great, actually. We're just that's why I was a bit late today, is because we are just focusing on work stuff. I've been talking with the shop help, who's trying to get me some work as long as I can, you know what I mean? Because we're susceptible here in Australia to the lockdown situation, obviously.
Okay.
So, we're doing our best to, as we say, make hay while the sun's shining.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we got on at a really good shop, and we're just yeah, cracking off, doing all right.
That's good to hear, man. Awesome.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate you guys grabbing that painting off me a little while ago, man. You guys got
Yeah.
one that we made while I was in quarantine. I actually had to do the hotel quarantine for 2 weeks. With the weather.
Quarantine.
It was crazy.
Oh yeah, it's awesome, man. I can see it right here. I'm looking at it. It's dope. Yeah.
Yeah, with the hand, I had to really zoom in and, get close up to see what was going on there. I almost didn't see that finger.
I actually gave her crab claws.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, crab claw.
Breaking those rules, man. Breaking those rules.
Yeah, it makes for a really weird hand position. Just try what you see and do the best. Hope it makes sense in the end.
That's in short supply these days.
Yeah.
Things that make sense.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that we have our art to tunnel into, because otherwise, what would there be but to just freak out,
Yeah, I'm with you, Guy. I don't want to talk about the modern, the current events as much. I'd rather do this, dude. Like,
Yeah, this is a nice break from things.
Yeah, I love it, dude.
Yeah,
I've been really enjoying painting outdoors. That's been, I'd love to say it's relaxing, but we're trying to balance all this other stuff too. And so it's been very, very time pressure every time, but it's good, because when you're actually sitting there working, it's a great way to be in the moment,
Mhm.
and you have to really observe what's around you, and rather than just say, wow, this is all really beautiful, you can say, okay, wow, look at the way that those treetops, are so brightly lit and then graded slowly down, and how that creates this contrast with the trunks in the foreground. And you start to, see it for all of its little compositional nuances. And then, you just lose time. You end up in this place where you're appreciating things,
Oh my God, I lost time there.
All right,
Yeah, 10
Yeah,
minutes.
I was really into it. I was cracking.
Oh God.
Should we use this one for our 20, or what do you guys think? Or should we look at a few?
I don't know.
That one's kind of cool. Like I like
Let's
that.
keep going. Her shading's kind of washed out. It'd be nice to find a pose that's got a little
More
bit more
dynamic.
light modeling in. So let's.
I'll have to
Lauren,
start
we're
over
gonna try
and reset the time. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna 20.
All right.
All right. I'm taking a bathroom break real quick. I'll be right back.
Yep.
Everybody else ready to go?
Ready when you are.
Yeah, I'm ready.
And let's keep going. That's really tricky. Anybody want to do symmetry, or should we move on?
I don't mind.
I'm
but it's
easy.
up to you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Nope.
Okay.
This is 20.
Yep.
Oh, the big one.
All right. So, yeah, I'm going to start by looking for a triangle, figuring out the angles on that triangle, or hands to that point kind of below between her feet. Yeah, and her feet definitely resolve into a very flat, straight line. Bottom there. Here I am back to doing it plain old outlines again.
Yeah, I'm doing the outlines on this one as well.
It's just, it's hard to break the successful habits. Sometimes that makes it hard to create new, better habits.
How are you starting this one, Mish?
Don't know. Just doing it.
Hello?
That's a cool one. Okay.
Yeah, you know, the outdoor paintings, those are fun because, you know, you get your palette laid out. You try to have a good representation of the colors you're actually dealing with before you start painting. So everything's there. And then you just kind of blur your eyes and go, you know, I mean, you're trying to figure out a dark and light rhythm to underpin the whole thing. And of course, the proportions and that kind of thing are a lot less demanding than they are with a figure.
When you guys, how often does everybody do life drawing? I think Hoko, last time we said that you'd only done it a couple of times in your life. But is there anybody in the group that that tries to frequent it? When I say frequent, maybe like, you know, more than 4 times a year.
I guess when I was in art school, we used to do it. We have to do it once a week for most of our time there. So that was like 4 years and once a week. So that was kind of nice because it's, you know, it's part of art school, so you don't really need to go out of your way and try and get into.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to arrange if you're not actually already in a school, and
yeah.
make
So
your own figure drawing group is especially.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was gonna ask is if anybody had experience arranging those things like in a way that's, you know, because if you're not in a like an environment that is conducive to that, like say if you're not in an institution or you're not like, you know, teaching at an art school or something like that, it can be difficult to find and like get involved with, I guess, the modeling scene, if that makes sense.
Okay, so first of all, if you're in an urban area, just look, you know, in the local art societies and that kind of thing. Just look for a figure drawing group in your area, and you might be surprised. There could already be something going on. Very likely not, and you know, people can be funny. Like Michelle and I we found a art society group here that has like a, you know, regular meetings and everything else. And we're like, oh, perfect. They'll be ideal to do a figure drawing group with. So they're like, what, you mean naked people? I don't know. I mean, I don't mind the idea, but
They weren't into it?
Yeah, it was, you know, we're out in rural America, you know, and I was just kind of surprised that even in the artistic context that they were sort of a little weird about it. But you know, we did it privately for a long time. We had a number of we probably did it 20 or 30 times here at our house, and that was when we hung out with more local tattooers. Scene has sort of changed a lot since then, and often we would time them for when we had guests coming through, and of course that's another thing that's changed a lot since then. And sometimes we would have models that would sit for, you know, a single 4-hour pose and would just paint. It was fun. But you have to have enough interested parties and definitely you have to make sure that you know ahead of time that everybody in the group is going to be respectful, because it can get really awkward if anyone isn't.
Have you had that happen before, where someone's been kind of disrespectful to a model or something?
I have.
Yeah, a
What?
little bit. Yeah.
Sucks, dude. It super sucks because it jams up like the whole vibe. There's this one that I used to go to when I was living down in the city, and like it was cool because there was like real models like that were like that really knew what they were doing. It was a very professional setting, but there was this one dude who would always, how do I put it professionally? He would always sit right directly in front of like their genitalia. You know what I mean? And he would just like it was obvious that that's what the fuck. Sorry, that's what he was there for. And like sometimes there was new models that were there, and you can tell that they weren't coming back because like this guy made them uncomfortable. And
that sucks.
yeah, it was a drag, man.
People, it's like that's so weird, man. If they've not heard of internet, if they want to see genital, they can just go on the internet.
Exactly.
Man, wait till that guy finds out about strip clubs. Man, it's gonna blow his mind.
Yeah. Well, over here, actually, for the past year or so, I think Auckland Gallery's been running like a free jump-in live drawing thing every Friday night.
Is that the one we've been talking about going to for ages now?
Yeah, for like a whole year. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we'll go. Maybe next week.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. You know, like we should really do that.
Oh yeah, man, we need to get amongst that for sure.
Yeah, but I think that's the hardest thing about organizing something this, especially with tattooers. You know, like everyone's just so busy with tattooing, and then even trying to organize a group of people to just paint together. You know, everyone's like, yeah, king. Comes the day, everyone's kind of, you know, either they want to go home, their family things, you know, and it's hard, man. Like even if you can organize a model, they like, yeah.
That doesn't mean everybody's going to show up.
I don't know. I found that when we had our groups going and people were committed, they showed up. We really didn't have a lot of cancellations. We had good momentum.
Yeah, that's good, man.
You can make it work. But you definitely, you'll find out in the first 2 weeks who's serious.
Yeah. I mean, we even thought about, I think Matt even talked about doing it during the day and just have, like, say, like a Wednesday, start early, do some painting, do some art stuff in the morning. And if you feel like tattooing, you can get your clients to come in the afternoon. But I think most people are pretty against that. I was kidding, but that's just me.
Yeah, I'd be up for that. I'd totally be up for that.
Yeah, Matt's definitely up for that, but I think most of the other guys probably just rather be making money. I think.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to convince people that they're going to benefit more in the long run by, you know, working on these things that don't necessarily pay right away.
No. But I guess, yeah, it comes down to how much you want to push towards this kind of stuff, you know?
Right.
How much you want to grow as an artist.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely, you know, for me personally, I don't use a lot of, I guess, direct human form reference in my work. Yeah. A lot of it's, you know, imaginative, but for sure, the understanding of like human anatomy and like where certain muscles fall, certain things that happen when other muscles are engaged. I benefit from all of those in all of those ways from like working with an actual life model. But yeah, I definitely feel like it makes me a stronger artist. I wish I could do more of it. I'm sure that there's some sort of group here. I'm probably just lazy and haven't found it.
I just think that when work on improving those kind of classical art skills, there's no way it's not going to make us better at tattooing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lauren, how's our time looking?
We're a little over halfway.
Okay.
Adrian, is there any where you live? They have any colleges that might have art classes and stuff?
Yeah, but the problem is it's not as simple as it used to be able to go to school. I'll put it that way. There's a lot more bureaucratic issues that would stand in the way of me just being able to take a simple class, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. Where I'm at, like people that don't go to the school, like we've got Franklin and Marshall College, and then the small one called Millersville University, and there's an art school too. And if you're just one of the people from the town, you can go there and pitch in the $5 or $10, and at least it used to be that way. I don't know if it still is. I should check it out.
It might still be that way. There's this museum called the Hota. I think it's like something about contemporary art, and I would imagine that they would have something like that going on there, maybe.
Okay.
I mean, I probably haven't looked into it enough. I was more actively doing it when I was living in Melbourne before all of this Rona stuff cracked off, but obviously, things changed.
Yeah, I saw yours. They're cool. They were nice, man.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like I got to know a few models, and we didn't do too much life drawing at our house, but we did end up working with this model for photographic references, and it turned out to be a really good friendship. Like she posed for us, oh man, like 3 or 4 times maybe, and yeah, like it. We still use those references for sure.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, if we were going to keep doing this kind of thing, it would be cool if we could find some people that were willing to pose and build up a library of references that are from within the community, and that way we don't have to feel as like limited in terms of how much they get seen and that sort of thing.
Well, I know I mentioned this website last time, but there's this thing called Crocus Cafe, I believe. I'll send you the link. I follow them on Instagram, and they'll post like 1 or 2 photos from each set, and I think they got something like a couple of 1,000 photos, and they're very similar to what we're seeing here. But you'll have one model that has, let's say, 70 different dynamic poses. Some of them have props and things like that, and they're specifically designed for these painting references. You might, and I think it's a subscription thing, and once you pay for the subscription, monthly, you get access to all of them.
Yeah, I mean this site has a lot of those kinds of things. You can get costume poses and all different categories of different kinds of poses, but it's going to be limited because it's all volunteer based.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not having to find actual models, it obviously makes everything more doable, but it also, there's nothing like doing it for real. You have to find a good spot in the room when you sit down. Sometimes, like, somebody will get into a pose and you'll be like, oh, I got to sit somewhere else. Find that perfect spot, and it's like, oh yeah, here, I can nail it from here.
It's also really kind of, I guess if you really want to do it, you could always, like my brother does it a lot. So he's a he's a children's art sort of a storybook illustrator.
Okay.
And he quite often just goes to the cafe, brings a sketchbook, and just sit there and just draw people, just in everyday poses and environments, you know, and that's always quite nice. If you don't mind kind of looking like a creep sitting there drinking coffee and but, that helped him immensely in terms of capturing you know, bodies and emotions
Quickly.
yeah, quickly. So that really helped him in his work over the years.
Yeah, the things that force us to work quickly, as much as it's like an extra challenge on top of everything already being a challenge, it really I think that it's easy to get just caught up in trying to be perfect, and you can just lose so much natural fluidity trying to nail down the perfection. And when you have the, you know, limited time, you just don't do that. You can't.
Mhm.
And it, you know, it helps you learn and create your own techniques of observing what's important, and you know, so you don't, the more you do it, the more you kind of straight, as soon as you see something, you're able to capture it by just looking at it and figure out what's important and how you construct the image to capture that really quickly, you know, instead of trying to carefully measuring everything.
I find myself using zebra shortcuts because I've been using that for the whole day.
Do you find yourself pressing Control Z even in everyday life if you did something wrong? That's not computer.
Yes, I do, and I don't tell anybody because I feel like I'm embarrassed for myself. You know what I mean?
No, trust me, you're not the only one. I also am always looking up there to find the clock. It's like, nope, there's not a clock there. This is a human being.
I did this thing called Zero Latency a couple years back. It's this video game thing where it's all what is it? A virtual reality based.
Yeah.
Is that one that's in Melbourne, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah,
So
another one.
it was like this 45-minute game, super immersive, right? And when I left the place for a solid, I don't know, I'd say maybe a day, I found myself like paying attention and expecting little icons to pop up in real life. It was very
No way.
strange. It was very strange.
That sounds strange.
Welcome to the future world of augmented reality, right?
Hey, what's weird is that I was really good at killing zombies in that game.
Might have found your calling, man.
I might have found my calling. They were asking me, they're like, so how long have you been like
We
playing?
are closing in on time, just so you guys know. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine. How long have you
Right.
been playing VR games? I'm like, oh, this is the first time.
Eh.
Yeah, I was actually quite good at that as well. My old flatmate when I lived in Melbourne had one of those HTC Vives set up in our lounge room.
Nice.
And yeah, it was a lot of fun.
All
Oh,
right.
it's
There
time.
we go.
I like that pose. That was still going.
That's a good one.
That
I
was
enjoyed
challenging.
that.
That was a cool one. Yep.
So let's check out everybody's drawings. Who wants to go first? Well, here's mine.
Nice.
Hey.
Nice.
You know,
Nice.
a little bit blurry, you know, because didn't have time to get tight with anything, but yeah, basics, a little bit of highlights. All right, who's next?
I'll go next. Why not? All right. Again, it just kind of went quite painterly, just focused on values a lot. I drew the entire thing with line work beforehand, and I found it just quite a challenging pose, just because of that added symmetry. Found it quite a bit more challenging than the other ones. But
Yeah. Well, I won't lie. I did a bit of transforming and stuff with mine, Like if I had been doing that drawing, I probably would have, circled and transformed the arms a little bit. The left one, I would have tried to match the forearm pose with the other one a little bit. But the value is great.
Cool.
The front of the abdomen I could have definitely spent a whole half hour just rendering that.
Yeah, absolutely. I would have actually liked more time to do that as well. Instead, I've got quite a blobby abdomen, but that's all good. All right, who's next?
I can show mine.
All right.
It's all on the
Get
screen.
amongst it.
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah, you got the basic balance of it. Looks like what I was looking for was, that triangle, like you go from the hand on the left down the angle of the leg. Imagine a point down there, and then another angle back up to the other hand. And I found that once I had that kind of figured out, it wasn't that hard to get everything in place, although I did have to transform her a couple of times.
Okay.
So you got your proportions pretty good.
Yeah, I like the proportions and the drawing. I would take more time to I don't know. I liked on yours, guy. It was really round and the highlights. It looks really cool. I would try to do something like with the give it some volume and whatnot. But yeah, the proportions are cool.
The one thing I'd say is that it doesn't necessarily look like her head is tilted up. It would take like one or two judiciously placed brush strokes and you would have that.
Oh, okay. I see. Cool.
Right on. Who's next?
I can do mine.
Love the way you've rendered that forehead, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to turn the camera, but I don't know how to turn the camera.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey,
nice.
That's awesome.
That's wild, bro. Really wild.
Thanks, man. The proportion of the arms a bit off. Probably should be a little bit longer, but yeah, ran out of time, and I don't have an eraser, so kind of.
Yeah, actually what I'm seeing there is her torso is a little long.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if her torso were shorter, that triangle would be there where the hand follows through down the leg and everything. But yeah, not bad. I see the one next to it.
Oh, one next to it. That's that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, nice, man. I like that you put in some facial features too.
Yeah.
Well, I thought she looked pretty happy in the photo. Cool.
All right, who's left?
Is it me? I think it's me.
Yep, Adrian.
Yeah, there we go. It looks like an Adrian.
Nice, man. That's so cool.
Her thinliness is clearly exaggerated, but yeah. Nice.
See what I mean by I just kind of I applied a cartoony kind of, I guess, identity to her, but still kind of try to zero in on those forms.
Oh.
It's kind
It
of
looks like
about identifying what was important in my eyes and just kind of leaning into those forms.
Yeah, I liked how she kind of rises up out of the darkness. It's good.
Real ritualistic looking.
Mm-hmm.
trying to do up a character from Species or something.
Yeah.
That's cool. Really cool.
Nice. Right on. Well, hey, great session, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Joining us.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
yeah, Gabe and I were talking, we definitely got to do another ZBrush thing, but it might be fun if we could get a little bit bigger group. And, you know, because we did a biomet group a few months back where we had a few different groups of people passing drawings around because we didn't want to have too many, like one loop of 15 different artists in it, because, you know, everybody wouldn't get a turn on each piece, right? So we just ended up making 3 or 4 different groups and passed around drawings, and it was pretty cool. You know, by the end of it, you know, we started looking at everybody's drawings, and there were like 30 really cool drawings. And so, yeah, maybe we could get a few more people who are, you know, maybe entry level at ZBrush, but they'll be able to ask any question. You know what I mean? Because I consider myself pretty entry level, and I felt like we were still able to meaningfully collaborate. But yeah, long story short, it'd be cool to do that again and see if we can invite some other artists who want to, you know, make an experience out of it and learn some of the tricks.
I got someone in mind that I would invite.
Right on.
Who's that?
This guy named Ease. He's a friend of mine. He's an old graffiti writer from New York. He's arguably like one of the most like well acclaimed graffiti writers, but he's also a tattooer. He does like these really interesting kind of neo-trad takes on his designs, and yeah, he's also a good friend of mine who's messing with a lot of 3D stuff and trying to build some NFT stuff, and he also uses ZBrush, and I think that he would be down to get down.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, that sounds great. You know, I'm trying to imagine like really intense graffiti lettering, you know, done up in ZBrush, you know. That would be something.
I'm trying to learn more about it, actually. You guys want to see the one that I'm working on while I got everybody here?
Yeah, I'd love to see
Yeah,
it.
hell yeah.
I also just wanted to ask, while you're all here, anybody heard of this mural artist who goes by PETA, EAD, PEETA?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that guy, right?
For
Now, I
that.
don't know if he is using a computer to help plot that stuff out, but it's like really intensely anamorphic, you know?
Yes,
yes. The way he, you know, changes the perspective on surfaces and that kind of thing, totally transforms buildings.
A friend of mine is in the same graffiti crew as him. He's in this crew called EAD. They're from a small town in Italy called Padova.
Okay.
I can see if I can make some sort of a link. No promises, because I've never talked to the guy, but yeah, his I guess one of his painting partners is a friend of mine named Yama.
Okay. Yeah, I love that guy's work. We've got like a die cut aluminum piece of his in the studio.
Oh, you guys got one of those?
Yeah.
Oh my god. That's awesome. Here, all right, let me show you that ZBrush thing that I'm doing. So yeah, hopefully I'm going to be able to print these things out.
Cool.
Yeah, man. Really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see what you've done there, man. That's a cool idea.
So yeah, just kind of like these 3D interactive sleeve ideas, basically, that can stand alone on a shelf or something. It's still super crude, but you see the direction I'm going with it. I did another one earlier that was more just like straight and cubed, and it just didn't have the dynamic appeal, so I twisted it. I twisted it using that masking technique that you showed us last time, where you had the alpha that faded off halfway.
Oh, yeah. There's actually another way you could do that. If you go to deformation on the tool palette, if you scroll down to that, there's a slider under there, and it's just called twist, and that could probably achieve the same effect.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, and so that theoretically, yeah, there you go. So it looks like there's a few different axes on at the moment, but if you turn on, I think if you just turn everything off, but maybe the y-axis, it should give you that exact result.
All right.
Oh, nice.
Million ways to skill a cat. Oh, yeah, that looks
Yeah,
really
so
cool.
That's what I've been working on for a little bit. Well, I've been
I'm
talking.
always amazed at how many things in the menu of any app, really, but so many things you just never even visit because you already are
Oh,
fine.
yeah.
It's like, yeah, okay, I'm good. But then
Right,
meanwhile,
right.
all these things,
Like the Move Elastic tool that you were messing with last time. Like after we got off, I messed with that a whole bunch too. I was like, I didn't even know that it could do a bunch of these things.
Yeah, I'd never used that brush before until you guys mentioned it. So, yeah, it's quite hard
Well,
case.
it was nice to see everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks for
absolutely.
dropping in.
Hmm.
Thanks everyone for dropping in.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
Take
Yeah,
care of
we'll
yourselves.
keep you
Cheers, man.
posted whenever our next events are coming up. We're talking with a bunch of different artists from Australia, New Zealand, surrounding area about various different events, drawing group stuff like that. So we should have some announcements shortly. And of course, if everyone here has any ideas, let us know.
Thank
Cool.
you, everybody.
Hey, thanks.